So Dan took me on a really cool date this past weekend. We got to fly on a little airplane and he got a flight lesson. And he took a flight lesson 20 years ago and he wanted to do it again. So it's been 20 years since his last flight lesson. And it was just really fun and exciting to watch him maneuver the plane. And of course, he had the instructor sitting next to him telling him what to do and how everything works. And I was in the back seat, which as a control freak, that's very difficult as it is. But when you're in a plane, I was just trying hard not to throw up. But being in the air and being in that small plane was such a cool experience. And I literally didn't even know I was doing that. I woke up that day and he didn't tell me what the date was until about 10 minutes before we got there. So definitely a surprise date. And once I was in there, this is way out of my comfort zone on so many levels. But once you're in the air, seeing everything that goes into getting a plane off the ground, there's the checklist, there's making sure everything is correct, and just Dan was telling me later that the steering wheel or whatever was so subtle and he would barely move it and the plane would start to turn. And so he got kind of freaked out at not wanting to overdo it or something. And I was in the back seat and I was I could tell when he was turning, cause the ground would go like this. We're going this way. And the ground's oh, okay. The ground is literally like this. But, he was concerned about over pressing or over steering it. And he got a little freaked out by that. And I thought that was interesting. Okay, it's a very sensitive steering wheel and you can use your feet to steer the plane as well. So I can't even imagine doing that. It almost made me want to take a lesson just to see what it feels like. But seeing the pilot and hearing his enthusiasm for flying and just getting this deep appreciation of what it means to fly a plane. I now have a deeper appreciation of all of it. I'm wow. And then being in the air, seeing the entire Arizona landscape, Phoenix, and all the cities and stuff, we were able to fly over Sky Harbor Airport. And there was somebody that didn't check in with them, so they were gonna get in trouble. And apparently you can lose your license over that. But our pilot checked in with the Sky Harbor Airport and listening to them communicate. I had no idea what anything meant, but I was wow, there is so much that goes into this activity. And I was thinking about that in terms of mastery. When you do something and you get so good at it and you're studying it and you're doing it, you're implementing it, you're hands-on with it, it takes a level of passion and loving what you're doing to get to that point of mastery. And I was talking about this with Dan. I was do you think you would want to go for another lesson? Because I guess it takes 40 hours of flying to get the basic pilot lesson or the basic pilot license, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's different levels that you can do, flying in clouds. It was a very clear day while he was flying, but I was do you think you would want to do this again? And I think he's thinking about it. And I told him you really have to love doing it if you're going to do it. Why would you want to do it if don't love doing it? And I was thinking about it. For me, I've never in my life thought, oh yeah, I want to become a pilot or whatever. But I really liked the intellectual challenge of you have to be aware of this, you have to be aware of that, you have to be aware of that. I was wow, there's so many things you have to be aware of simultaneously. That was very appealing to me because I love a challenge. And physically, you have to be, you have to make sure your body is not getting sick. You have to make sure your mind is calm, regulate your breathing, be alert, pay attention to stuff. And there's just so much. This is not the place for screwing up. this is not the place for, being immature, having a meltdown, having emotional issues. Like, you really have to stay level and clear. And it just got me thinking, like, wow, that's super cool. Like, for somebody to go through all the pilot training and become a pilot, I mean, I just never thought of it before. Now I understand, like, an inkling of a fraction of what it probably takes to do that. And it's super inspiring. But it was a really amazing day. I mean, my mind was blown. We were just talking about it after that. We were both blown away, like, wow. And this company that took us up there, super cool company. Like, these people were just spending time getting to know us and talking to us, super cool. And they were saying, like, they're not a big corporation. They're not just a pilot mill trying to get pilots cranked out. Like, they really want to take the time to help the student, which I thought is cool. That, of course, that corresponds with anti-marketing, right? You're not just a number, you're not just a sale, you're actually a human being with needs, with emotions, with all kinds of stuff, and they care about that more than making the sale. So I thought that was really cool. If I ever wanted to have a flight lesson, I would definitely be going with that company. And I posted this on Instagram. I posted a few videos, and I posted it in my stories, and then saved them under the little bubble with the flight stuff on it. I forget what I called it, probably flight lesson or something. But if you want to see that, go to my Instagram at Anti-Marketing Manifesto, and you can see that. It was just super cool. Oh man, I feel like there's going to be an article that comes out of this, and man, just wow. Thank you, babe, for taking me on that date. What a great idea. And that whole thing came from us. We created a document. Dan and I created a document of date night ideas of things that sound fun, places that we want to go to, things that we want to try, things that are outside of our comfort zone, because we thought that would be another cool way to, like, strengthen our bond. We already have a strong bond, but that's just another way to add some cool experiences to our life. So we both are adding little date ideas, date night ideas. And we also have a list of resistance items, things that we both want to do individually that we've been resisting for whatever reason. We throw those at the bottom of the document, and we've been working on those together as well. So, going on a date is something that we kind of resist because we get too comfortable, we get in a rut together. So that's a great way to get through that. So I just wanted to share that. If you have a significant other, that could be a really fun way to bond, is put some stuff on that list, make it a shared document. You guys can edit it, add things to it, and just try out something you've never done before. Do something that's out of your comfort zone, that's scary, that's you never thought you would do, and just see where it goes. I mean, with flying, oh man, I think that's something everybody should do at some point. And I honestly think some people can't handle it because it is intense. It is scary. Like, you really have to know what you're doing. And to be in the back seat, it's also very scary because you're not doing anything. You're not in control of anything. I like to be in control of stuff, but yeah, try it out. If it's calling to you, definitely try it out.